Welcome to Let's Talk About It. I'm Sheena.
And I'm Tamara, and happy coming out week.
Yep, happy coming out week. It's a big week in the LGBT community all over the world because it's the week that we encourage everybody to come out.
Or to tell their coming out stories. The 11th is National or International Coming Out Day.
Yes.
So we're here to chat about coming out. We did our coming out story last year. So this year we're going to focus much more on the act of coming out, why you should, why you shouldn't.
Yes. Our coming out story the link will be in the show notes. So if you're interested, you can hear about our own coming out stories. And I think I'll add some links to other people's coming out stories as well, which I found particularly touching. Okay, so let's start with benefits. Why would you want to come out of the closet?
Well, I think it's psychologically good for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you can make peace with being gay or bi or lesbian or whatever it is, like, you'll be a much happier person because you can live your life being who you are.
Absolutely. So it's the ability to live honestly.
Mm-hmm.
It builds self-esteem because you are no longer trying to hide a facet of yourself.
Yes.
Straight up, it helps with dating because a lot of people who are already out would rather date somebody who's out than somebody who's in the closet.
It's also easier to find people if you're all out.
Absolutely. You can go to a gay club without worrying that somebody you know is going to see you.
Yes.
Most people that I have come out to have been okay with me being a lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not all of them by any means, but most people. And that in its own right has been quite esteem building because when you're in the closet, you feel like there's something wrong with you. You feel like you're different and abnormal and not okay. But when you do come out and you realize that actually most people are okay with you, it's quite a affirming and freeing process.
I think coming out also helps you see all the people who are allies to you. So you can see that, there are other lesbians, that there are people who are not lesbian but who support you as well. So it's a way to, find those allies, but then also become an ally to someone else.
Absolutely. And that is one of the biggest reasons why you should come out of the closets. You will help others who can't come out of the closet yet or who are afraid, because the more of us are out, the more we are open about who we are, the more the world will see that we're not actually that different or that weird or that other that they're worried about. The more we are just the neighbor or the woman across the street or the woman who owns the coffee shop down the road or whoever it is.
Yeah, people will learn that being a lesbian isn't a stereotype. It isn't the crazy cat ladies who live up the hill by themselves. They're your doctor, your lawyer, your architect, whatever.
Those are some sexy women. Lawyers, doctors, architects.
Well, whatever. But
No,
my point
I
is,
agree with you. I'm just being funny. It also allows you to connect with other LGBT people. And why is this important? You may be thinking to yourself, lesbians and gay people, they're so weird. Like, lesbians have all these carabiners and these cats, and gay guys are so effeminate. Like, why would I want to connect with them?
Mm-hmm.
Because actually that's not true. You connect with people and you connect with people who are like-minded the way you would connect with any other kind of person. Right. So if you're a gamer, you connect with gamers who like the same sort of games as you. You connect with lesbians who have the same sort of interests as you.
And if it's important for you as a person, coming out is also a political act.
It really is. And people who say things like, oh, don't politicize it and whatever it is, basically what they're saying is get back in the closet because you make me uncomfortable. You know what? It is a political act because as much as we just want
to live
freedoms and basic human rights that everybody else gets, there are people out there who are working against that. And so coming out and being who you are and standing up and going to the pride rallies and the marches and signing those petitions and phoning your, whoever represents you on whatever the matter is, consider it your obligation as a human being to make it easier for those that come after you.
Yes, and even if you're not the kind of person who feels comfortable being super political, do the basics. Go vote.
Yes.
Go vote for the candidate that best represents you, even if they're not ideal. But the one who gives you more freedoms is the one you should be choosing.
Coming out helps to dispel myths and stereotypes about us. It's something that we do on this podcast all the time, is we try to dispel myths and stereotypes about being a lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
Because, frankly, we are just human beings.
Spoiler alert, right?
Right? To do that in your life, by just coming out and being a normal human being.
Mm.
Right?
And show those around you that you're not weird, you're not some sort of sexual pervert.
And if you like, whatever it is, more power to you. But I guarantee you that you're not alone in the world.
Not even by a long shot.
And that's something that coming out does as well, is it makes you feel not alone in the world.
Mm-hmm. You have a community.
You do. We're here for you. Now, why you wouldn't want to come out?
Okay.
Because there are legitimate reasons to why you don't want to come out.
Just before we go into that, I just want to talk about coming out itself. Okay. I think that there are different levels to coming out.
Yes.
And it's not just one big act.
No.
I think the first is coming out to yourself.
Yes.
Making peace that you are whatever you are. Whether it's gay, lesbian, bi, asexual, trans, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Admitting to yourself that that's who you are and that you're okay with it, that is the first step in coming out.
Even if you're not 100% okay with it, admitting it to yourself.
Yes.
Okay? Because
it's easy to be in your own closet.
It really is. And it is a process that takes years often to come to terms with your own sexuality. It wasn't an overnight thing for me. It took me a long time to be able to go from I'm gay to I'm okay with being a gay woman.
Okay, and then I think the next step is coming out to your loved ones. And I'm not going to say family here because sometimes your family is not your loved ones. And I don't think people should confuse that. Some people are not lucky enough to have nice, friendly families.
Mm-hmm.
But those who are close to you and who you love, coming out to those people.
Right, and it doesn't have to be a big drama like with me. There was crying, there was a lot of people looking at me like I was completely weird and saying to me, okay, and it doesn't have to be that. It can be whatever makes you feel comfortable.
Okay. And then once that's come out, you've come out to them, then there's also not even once, because sometimes people will come out to others and not to their family, or to their loved ones. But then coming out to people at work, that's a whole different story.
And you may want to come out in your personal life, but not your
Professional
work life. And that's totally legitimate too, because there are companies who will fire your ass.
Mm-hmm. And then there's just coming out to the world at large.
Right. So putting on your Facebook profile that you like women.
Yes. So there are tons of levels of coming out, and coming out even on a broader level is not even a once-off thing. Every time you start a new job, you have to come out.
Every time you meet a new person, you are forever going to be coming out. I got a phone call from a salesperson the other day who wanted to know what my husband did. So I had to come out to her and say, my wife.
Yeah. So it's annoying. It really is. So just realize, but the best thing is that it gets easier with every coming out.
It does. And the more you come out to people like the person who phones you, the more you change the world a little bit, because that person suddenly realizes that your spouse does not have to be of the opposite sex. The more you come out and the more you are an ambassador, the easier the world will become, one small step at a time.
Okay, and then this leads into the reasons why you wouldn't want to come out.
Don't come out if this is dangerous for you. There are literally countries where they will kill you.
Mm-hmm. There are places where people will not hire you, places where you will be hurt, you'll be molested, whatever it is. If it's dangerous for you to come out, don't do it. Only do it if you will be safe, because ultimately that's what's important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're very aware of that.
And don't force other people to come out.
If it's their own journey, please leave them to their own journey.
And no matter how good you think it is politically, personally, it's not your job, and you do not have the right to take someone's closet away from them.
If you are unsure and you don't know how to do any of this or how to navigate it, and you are in a situation where you just feel like the only option you have is to commit suicide, or you know somebody who feels that way, help them. There are helplines out there all over the world. There are people that they can talk to. Legitimate, trained professionals who can help them through this. Because they don't have to be alone.
If you've got friends who you know are in danger of being like this, make sure that they know that you're there for them.
Because at the end of the day, being a lesbian is not easy. But heck, it beats lying to yourself.
Yeah. The problem with staying in the closet is that it is going to impact your life. You're going to have issues because you can't be yourself. And even if you're really good at putting on a front, wearing a mask, it's going to hurt you.
And the thing is, if you're only in your 30s or your 40s before you decide that you are queer and there's something that you haven't admitted to yourself, that's okay too.
Heck, even if you're in your 70s.
Absolutely. If you are in a marriage already with a man and you decide that actually it's time that you be your real self, that's also okay. Don't ever feel like there's something wrong with you, because there isn't. This is not a disease or an infection or something that needs curing.
Yeah, and I think talking about husbands or wives or other family members, your sexual orientation is about yourself, not about other people. And you should never feel beholden to get married to someone who you don't love or who you don't think is the right person for you just because they're the gender your family thinks you should be getting married to.
And if you do find yourself in a situation, talk to somebody. I'm Sheena.
And I'm Tamara, and we're out.
We're out. And you have a wonderful coming out week.
Stay safe, stay happy.
And don't forget to rate this podcast on iTunes. Help us climb those charts.
And then join us on our Facebook group, the Lesbian Talk Show chat group.
Yes. And email us on podcast@thelesbiantalkshow.com and tell us your coming out story.
And if you know of someone who is struggling to come out, please share this podcast with them.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye.